And hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of The Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan, once again bringing you my thoughts and review for tonight's episode of Supergirl Season 4, Episode 16. And boy, a lot of ground to cover here because honestly, this is, I think, was the best episode since last week, since the entire, arrival of Lex Luthor. And, this is one of them, and also big spoilers, because literally the episode just ended. And I wanted to talk about this thing now before I end up forgetting about it. But man, this episode's crazy. You know, this is one of the reasons why Lex Luthor is my second favorite DC villain of all time. I mean, he's such a badass. I mean, the guy is literally always two steps ahead of everybody. He's always playing Superman. He's always playing the world. It's crazy. So this whole episode is literally about flashbacks of how he gets in contact with the Soviet version of Supergirl. Because remember, she got in contact with the whole Reva thing and the whole Black Kryptonite. And Black Kryptonite is the one, that separates Kryptonian from, makes him a copy, basically. So we get to see that. We get to see him, in court, how he was being trialed when Superman first stopped him. And, oh my goodness, he literally kills everybody in the courtroom, like literally everybody, obviously except Lena, of course, and James. But he literally poisons the judge, the prosecutor, the jury. He poisons everybody, and that I don't know how, either with their drinks or something. And then we get to see him go to prison, especially maximum prison. Obviously, we see him, I guess play Mr. Saint in prison, or he gives the inmates special gifts, whether it's lobster or this and this and that. How he blackmails people to be able to get what he wants, a special room and all this and comfort. You see Lex Luthor play his strength, him being, a very powerful man, in the business world, and having a lot of cha-ching isn't bad either. And there's this one scene that's like beyond awesome. Actually, there's two of them I like the best. One is where he sees the warden, the warden. He's like, "Oh yeah, how was the courtside seats I gave you? Oh, it's great." And then he talks about how he needs to go to Russia because he found out about the whole, double Supergirl. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need 48 hours to go to do what I gotta do." And the warden's like, "Man, I can't let you do that." And he goes, "You know what? Remember, you have a grandmother or a mother or something in a little nice house. It'd be really shame if she ends up being dead." And the warden's like, "Yes, sir, man. Do what you want to do, but just have fun. Go do it." People are afraid of Lex Luthor here, and the actor who plays him is so good. And my second favorite part is when he's getting, released, so to speak. A little field trip, if you want to call it that. He's playing chess with everybody as he walks by them. They're all playing chess. He's telling them to move his pieces to a certain spot, and he's always playing hidden checkmate. That has got to be the coolest scene I've ever seen in anything, either TV or movies or whatever. That is awesome. When you're that much of a badass and you're beating people in chess and you're not even in the room with them and you just walking by them, playing chess with them, and you outbeating them, yeah, you're a genius. And yeah. And then we get to see him how he dealt with, how he kind of befriends the other Supergirl. And by the way, the Melissa Benoist playing, the Russian version of Supergirl, gotta give her props on this. She's learning Russian, and I don't know if that was actually her learning Russian, but if she did, props on that, because honestly, that was actually pretty cool. And we got to see that. That was cool, how she befriends a little boy that she kind of overhears when she's like learning her powers, because the Russians are, the Soviet Union is like training her. And there's this one moment where she hears people and then she goes to the rescue, and then Lex gets involved, and it's like, yeah. But then you see him just do step by step, teaching her what's good in his head, but what's bad, basically what he's really doing. There's this one moment in the episode where he literally blows up a little boy's house that she kind of befriends to make it look like America attacked. Her Soviet Union place, and she literally flips out because she kind of befriended the boy, even though the boy's still alive. They've kind of literally Lex Luthor fakes the death of the little boy to convince her that Supergirl and the others are pretty much evil. And then she got to learn about the whole Kryptonian stuff and kryptonite. So we got to see that. We even got to see her go into America, pretending to be Kara during the whole Crisis on Infinite Earth situation when Kara went away to deal with that stuff. You know, with Barry and basically in the crossover episode, we got to see what the Soviet Union Supergirl got to do at that moment. So we got to see that. That was cool. Like I said, we even got to see Lex Luthor give himself cancer to play his own sister, to get that cure from his own sister, to be, you know, to step it up. And we got to see him also, you know, get Tessmacher into how she gets involved. She was just literally a fan of his, but yet she's very smart in her own right. And then she kind of got played in to be able to be, and be in Catco, work for Lena. You know, all the little pieces started to work together, and it was just awesome. And like I said, Kim giving himself cancer was funny. He literally goes into a radiation machine, I guess, or room. He opens the door, he hits the button, he closes the door behind him, he gives himself cancer, so that way Lena can help him out, get better, give him the powers, and now we're basically caught up to speed. It was so awesome, and like, oh my god, this episode was great. Like, if you haven't seen this episode yet, and I'm sorry I spoiled it for you if you are watching this video, watch this episode like now. You're a huge fan of Superman, Supergirl, and Lex Luthor. This episode is awesome, and I give it like, if I was gonna rate this, if I wanted to, 10 out of 10 is beyond perfect. This episode was great. Shows the great flashbacks, how it all ties into, you know, from last week's episode, and how it all ended with that, and just brilliant. And now it looks like next week's episode is going to show how America is going to be betrayed by supposedly Supergirl as the, and we got to see Soviet Union Supergirl's suit. That was cool at the end. So it looks like she's going to pretend to be Supergirl and basically kill everybody in Washington and blame it on Supergirl. So that's going to be fun. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode, if you saw it. And what do you guys think about Lex Luthor so far? I think he's crushing it. The actor who's playing him right now, he's dominating this role right now. And I think he's my favorite Lex Luthor right now. So, yeah. So, thank you very much and have a good night.